Longzhong Gomdes Jabra, Uring Danyat. Tamanja Hagura, Sanda Des Uktu Dang Upa Dang Ula Tanga Japsi, Tanga Sum Japsha, Tanga Ngas Jap Des.
Let's start this doing breathing meditation, Lu Zhong, the breathing exercise, and maybe count it up to 3 times. First set 3 times, second set 5 times. And I don't need to talk much about it because you are all now familiar with this.
Oh yeah. Also, dann die Tangische und Shire. Ne? Shirim Shedande, that Malame Shune, that's a wish of Jerry.
No.
And she lam devus, that she lam devu, that she Shirim to the Dang on the Lobjon Chena Digo, that's on me. She. That lamge negabdilla. 자 지난다 중나다 먼저 왕 토고 요러 이내다 람라 치워추고 냠내도서다 먼저 셰나 디그리로 다 롱구 냠내 지난 거도도 배전에 야 배전 다왕 톱내면서 배전 셰나 디기 유마르다 애들이 so she ge ani dije dang ani she chiwa chugu nyamlen shidang rinpa dije de tingi ni zo she sha da lungu de zo lungu nyamlen shidang dang chugu nyamlen shidang de zo ani wang top symbol la me shu phe she na digiyo mar da khashe gane kusun lam je khorang wang ma thob la she ge mar chune ro
no
da ina de nge dina na de zen ro che je shi di she na digdo thingor da shi chirim de da ani chiwa chugu ge nyamlen shidang de yang zo samda yor da de wang ma thom nyele samda chogu do da de tu she tare de tu she sha na chen ro
so the plan on my part for this course is to talk about what is called she means she nezu. There is ground reality, or some people say base reality, in terms of death, intermediate existence, and rebirth. Then there is part reality, lam, where you take death as dhammakaya on the path, so that that process transmutes death. Then the second part of part reality is taking intermediate existence, ordinary intermediate existence, as sambhogakaya and transmuting it. And then the third is taking ordinary rebirth as nimanakaya and transmuting it. So I feel it is quite permissible to talk about the base reality. That's why we are here. I also feel it is permissible to talk about part reality of taking death as a dhammakaya on the path. Now, with regard to the next two, intermediate existence as nimanakaya, as sambhogakaya, and rebirth as nimanakaya, practice involves a lot of tantric visualization, which can only be done after one has had sound initiation from a qualified master. So I'm not going to go into that territory. Besides, there are also those teachers who think it is strictly the domain of Tantra, this dissolution process. They don't talk about that at all.
다 단다 디 ngaji kham chung den se wa ngo da nga la me gi lam nyam len chen se ji la su su dang gi sim tham mo de san je sa la ju tu ya ge lu den ya shue de ngo mi lu den ngaji kham chung den sa de ro da je zang an zo nga ran zo de yu da ko de na gang ye de ye la nyob je da nga singam la je wa shos ma lam je go ro ta shi 다 될베 강에 두 자성부 두 스타가 베 찍라 참나 찍라 청금에도 찍라레나 닐레 레그멘도 다 딜라다 당아 다 요구도 다 거와데 릭송스로 다 당아 디샤제 다 당신라 교쇼스 말람제 거라 다야 당신이 되지 먼저 밀리딘레알 마말람제 거다다 아유.
So now to deal with the first one, we need to acknowledge that we are humans who are born of womb and who is possessed of 6 elements, and that life form, the life form a human being has, is the best vehicle, or offers the best chance to tap into to tap into the most subtle mind of clear light, the subtle mind that all beings have. So we are bestowed with a priceless gift by birth as a human. Uh, while that is the case, but some Dharma practitioners who have meditated so hard on the crippling ills recurring in samsara, they become so fed up and so disillusioned that they want to escape the samsara and they pray to be reborn in some pure land. Guess what? Those in pure lands, they think the world of humans is a wonderful opportunity and they pray to be reborn in the human world simply for the reasons of being born from a womb with 6 elements. So we are wired, even physiologically, for great heights.
먼저 데리 가서 로기 짜장고 페라도 통그려야 돼로 지겨 인지기 지겨 쉽게 가서 아들 페리 그린 통세하죠.
No.
어디 내가서 신감 기호 통으로 신감 민지상 한세 밀려 되는 거예요.
So that's it. We think grass is greener in paradise, but those in paradise and pure land, they think grass is greener in the world of humans.
제가 가르쳐내라. 그래서 마음만 제가요. 다
So the question is, why do they be reborn in the human world?
그래서 세직 루직 산제 루된디 미루된면서 요마래. 녀지 감동된사들면서 요마르다.
That is simply because if a life form through a practice is able to make it to Buddhahood in one lifetime, it has to be the life of a human being born from womb and possessed of 6 elements.
다들 녀지 감동된사들 파진 태베 셰단다 마 셰단 데스터면도로 나 파진 태베나라메 감축세야들라 렌지트웨나라 기우사미 추마에 메멘로메 나가메 남시마인 꾸면나 텔레신베 기우칸 기우 감축 되베실라로 사추 메론 나가 남시 텔라 감축샤로 티파진 태베기 감축샤단데레 당아가 간나 대간나 네 가르샤오스나 감축디 팔레터베 강바 루바 강바 쿠어숨제로 가고
그거 팔로도
루바체 강바체 강아이스로
강 루베크노 강제
쿠어체 말레테베 아니 샤빠고타 샤단 빠고타 티숨라 녜제 감두스 나게 녜제 감두스야데 텔코거레 파진 테베 감두스야데 사주면은 시제 나가 남시 디젤 감두스 감축자단데 감축라데 칙디지 워르데레 야 파진다 나게 타니 주시 고단데스면다여로.
So what are the 6 elements? Common perfection vehicle description and tantric description or identification of 6 elements are different. Common perfection vehicle, for that 6 elements are, as Nagarjuna clearly spells out in Ratna Mali or Precious Garland, where it says a being is not earth, water, air. A being is not earth, water, fire, wind, space, and consciousness. So if a being is not these, then what is beings? What is a being? A being is that is just composed of these, labeled onto them. So common perfection vehicle identifies the elements as just mentioned. Now Tantra identifies 6 elements as follow. So of 6 elements we receive, each of us has received 3 from our father, 3 from our mother, and from father we have received the elements bone, marrow, and white drop. And from our mother we have received the elements of flesh, skin, and and blood. Thank you.
어디 다디 류디라 내윤디 다 자르바 자시고 자자 다디직 시하고 시고 다리 데스 자디라 다지단 먼저 류기 자 우마로마 장마 숨제로
No.
기들도 개베 슝기드네 안 딜레 파 체네 자들라 yenga chen 자 동다 둔주자니로 다디 우마드로마 장마 딜레 파 체네 류라야 자 동다 둔주자니 캡데요 그래서 다 류라야 제 간접스다 롱 간접스라 심 캡데요 그래서 어디 자롱 자도 롱다 디게 그러다 시고라.
So the next thing, the next base reality that we need to talk about is za, means channels. Broadly speaking, all humans have got, as most people are aware, 3 channels: the right channel, sorry, the central channel, right channel, left channel. And branching off from these, there are collectively 72,000 channels. That there's a network of 72,000 channels that run through the human body. In those channels run or course wind or energy, and mounted on the wind are the minds. So where there are channels, there are energy. Where there is energy, there is mind.
다디 당저 류르디 찹데로 찹디 당에디 단다 먼저 수수 먼저 단다 류도 쳐대라
나래.
아니 메도다 디도 자우도라 메도도 당고야 춘주 샤샤샤 안데네 메도샤 안데네 아야마 감주도라
나래.
당한저 류데 되나시 춘주간에 밤에기 단다 구라드네야 제네 류제드네 자 우마로마드네 자 동라드네 류제드네 다단다 라관냥알아들이 대야게라 다바 파팀도야 어디나시마 팀 제도고요다 디 팀베 중림들라 다 당보 시내가랑라도 시다 디 데르다 가서 싱우베네즈기 당하나지 미칸데지 시베이네 다 단데 내가랑라도 담에오 간데 시베이나 유림디 요요 그래서 왔다 딜라 라관냥하게 마 팀림디 다디 딕다 개좀 쉬어래. 디다래 야고지 심베이나 아니 베펜도 심베 레스타.
So if you look at flower, first there's a seed, and the seed germinates, and then there's a sprout, and then the flower, there's a young plant, then it grows into beautiful flower or beautiful flower. And after it has done its job of being beautiful for its lifetime, then time acts on the flower withers, and the elements, the material components of the flower just fall back to where it has stemmed from in the first place, back to the ground. In the same way, as a particular samsaric life, in this case, a life of a human being, stems from the primal subtle mind of clear light, which is conceived at the time of conception between ovum and sperm, and then cell divisions start, where the cell divisions with the cell divisions, then channels are formed and with the channels and sense organs gradually protrude and then creating base for subsequent sense consciousness. So then the growing embryo, the fetus and the embryo, anyway, it grows, they become bigger, larger and larger, and comes out after a certain period of time with a fully fitted kind of a body made of the six elements. And then after some time, after having lived in the world for the given time, then the life dissolves, life comes to an end. When the life comes to an end, like the flower components dissolving back into earth, then then what happens is the dissolutions of what is called 25 cores, the 25 cores items happens, and the process of dissolution of the 25 cause items invariably happens at the ground reality to all humans.
다 지금도 저런 진짜 딱갈래요. 진짜라 근데 이 용예도 저희나 다 내려와요래. 이 락반영아 배나 풍봉아스도 땅에 저런도 풍봉아라나 전지 지금 진짜 용예도 하고 그래. 다 하고도 가셔 다 당보여라 그래서 다 하고 오면 다 세다 디용한서 그룩하시 디용 진짜디 냠래라 시라 핑이 매매서로 세제네 이용할 가고 지고요라. 근데 저런도 넣어버리디. 다 디디 용기나 다리 틱틱 벨레라고 쉬차더래. 봉봉알라빈데 가렐 봉봉알라보다 수준하네. 봉봉아 디디디디레스다. 그만 진짜나 장샤여라. 감사신 그러다.
So when we talk about the 25 course items, we have to talk about the 5 aggregates. Now, people who have been attending normal Buddhist classes where these basic things are taught, the mention of 5 aggregates doesn't sound like a Greek. They know what they are, but if you are new, then again it's like learning a new language, as it were. You have to identify what are they and so on. So anyway, daily or regular attendance of normal classes where real learning takes place, everyone, is very important.
세상 다 하고도 다 세우차로다 다 풍봉아 가래라나 디규마 진다야나 남사고다 다 풍부스나 가래 두모봉바 풍봉아 가래 소무서 무디시무 남시 풍부레스 달라 용거라 어디래.
So then why are they called Pungbu, Skanda, the aggregates? They are called so because they are composition or aggregation of a lot of each of these. And so what are the 5 aggregates? So these are the aggregate of form, feeling, discriminating awareness, and karmic formation or mental formation or compositional factors and consciousnesses.
다 두씩 제나야 뭐래. 라고 영화데 가래라는 게 장가지라고 저런 저러와. 나체와 직제. 시체와 직제. 나체와 직이 숨 시도와. 나체와 시다 시체와 직 tukchewa chigyo resta rawa ningal.
So what are the 25 course items? So for ease of remembering, you could say there are four things of 5 and one of 4.
Sum.
La.
Sumrisha. Ngachewa sum.
Sorry. 3. there are 3 things of 5, 1 thing of 4, and 1 thing of 6. Oh, sorry, 3 items of 5, 1 item of 4, and 1 item of 6.
那女生弄是吧？
So, do we get 6? 25?
老婆人啊。
Pardon?
Yeah.
Somebody has got 25. You have got 25? Oh, then if you are 25, you are a human. If you are not.
맞다. 야, 저 뉴시장아 매우 저 정화인이 미디어 믹스해지래서라.
So a person who doesn't have who didn't get 25 but 15 must be special human.
아유, 당아체와 당보디 풍부가체로.
So now, what are the three things of 5 items? And the first one, okay, the first is the 5 aggregates.
다 풍부가데 당이 세워나시인데 득송하다 디디버체로. 다디 말이 도트슬랍시네 콘속하셔야 된다 싸워요로.
라렐.
풍부사야데 두모풍부체. 예와데라야 아는 가체 소풍부 소요부 뒤시부 나시. 다 소풍부사야데 빼는 거란도 류디래로. 류디. 류디체. 류디 수루루 차된 요데라 류 소풍부체. 다 초배 풍부사야 되는 거라서 기부도 유면도 자기도 장기도 써야지 소화져라. 디루루들라 소요 풍부체. 아 뒤시 풍부사야 돼 대야고레 디도자레 디링보레 디튼도레 디가보레 디세오리라니 뒤시 친이시도 아텐데 그릭게 된 뒤시 풍부체. 남시 풍부사야 되네 두바이기 남시체로. 다 딜레 셴베 풍부 소부모 소부 뒤시 풍부 남시 풍부레 셴베 풍부들라 네 뒤지 풍부스레 뒤지 풍부실레 셴스 뒤시 다들 망보시어랑 알아도 되자시다 공동하게 아니 딩인진다 대바다 두두상마다 두두상마 뒤지 풍부난 로용으로.
So the first of 5 things is the first category of 5 items is the 5 aggregates. The Sanskrit word is 5 skandhas. So why are they called aggregates? They are aggregation, composition of many of the same thing to make one course aggregate. And what are the 5 aggregates? For reasons of for the benefit of anyone who is new. So the first aggregate is called the aggregate of form. You know, the body itself. Then, and that's easy to relate to. The second, the body is aggregation of so many parts to make a physical entity called the body. And then the second aggregate is called the sensation of feelings. And we and the sentient beings experience are made up of aggregate of sensation, sensing or feeling, pleasure, pain, neutral. A lot of them, many times. The third aggregate, is aggregate of discriminating awareness. If you can recall, starting from the second aggregate is all mental. The second aggregate is a secondary mental factor. The discriminating awareness, the third aggregate, is sense of identifying, distinguishing, being able to distinguish things based on their properties, color, shape, and size, weight, and so on, and make all kinds of distinction. The fourth aggregate is aggregate of consciousness. 5 sense consciousnesses, from eye consciousness to body consciousness and the mental consciousness as the sixth one. Now, the fifth aggregate is mental formation. We have been saying it compositional factor. And anyway, let's say compositional factor or mental formation. This aggregate includes everything that a person is made of, that a person is a being is made of, excluding the first four. So the this one includes all forms of mental all kinds of mind, attachment, anger, jealousy, and so on, and all kinds of positive attitudes like love, compassion, patience, and so on.
다드네 유응아디 속다리로 렉장하더라.
Now, the second category of 5 items, please, they are yulunga. These are 5 objects of the senses, 5 sense objects. Suk means form, form. When we say form, color and shape. Anyway, form, sound, smells, tastes, and tactile objects like smooth, rough, and so on.
다드네 nga진 somebody 이시nga세들이로.
So now, the third category of 5 items constitutes what is called 5 base wisdoms.
멜론다위시, 냠니이시, 차두이시, 아니 그래. 소토이시, 직탐아서.
추잉이시.
추이시, 어디시가 들어와.
라렐. So the 5 base wisdoms, yishinga, they are mirror-like wisdom. Mirror-like wisdom. Second, nyamni yishi, equality wisdom, or wisdom of equality. The third is soto yishi, wisdom of analytical awareness. So means wisdom knowing things individually, or it's called wisdom of analytical analysis. And the next one is the wisdom of success, or accomplishing success, outcomes. And the last one is wisdom of Dhammatadu. Wisdom of Dhammatadu. Yeah. Pardon? 가서 주인이 있은 가르사.
주인이 있어야지. 다 배전이 제일라. 라왕 아니가라 마저 점네 제일라 자요나 배전이 야가요. 당서 전부 두셔라. 제일라 던데메 시대가로 주인이 시대에 용거를 대가도 더 자위나. 저런 셈나라마 지지 돼야 야가요. 네 뒤뒤 더 시작하고서라.
May I talk about that? And I will talk about how these 5 types of base wisdoms occur during different dissolution times.
어디야? 디체는 신야라 야고요. 배도 싫어. 어디지? 다드네 감시해야 되와.
Now,
감시디 다 되와. 사감 추감에 감롱이 감시들어.
Now, one category of four items, okay, they are quite easy. These are 4 elements. They are earth, water, fire, and wind. So now, one category of 6 items is called Gechitu. 6.
지금 미기지 나기지 오늘
Okay, 6 6 doorways for consciousnesses. Okay, 6 doorways. Ki means produce. Che means augment, increase. So these 6 doorways for consciousnesses. They are namely eye, second ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So we have now we have got 25 items, haven't we?
다 팀베를 뭐 간대래스다. 다 치디로 데 저거 닝어데 마 팀디우 컨테스팅 버래스다 게제들레래.
So the next question is how do they dissolve? What is the process of dissolution at the time of a natural death?
다 지난주 만사디 티기도 와디 티야디 야고요르stan다. 가서 내 짜트로스도 짜트다나 짜트도 나 따다 유명해 하고 뭐서로 다 TV나 다는 애 비전을 요도 따다 내용으로
나를
짜트도 가셔야 캐버 먹었던 파스 추스 나디 이지시다면도 짜트도 마다 승일 닐란도 내 세신이 비전은 내 비전도 마시셔지 도고스로
나를
근데 마티 근데 티차스나나 아니 짜트 직다다 아니 따다이나 아니 짜트 비지셔 따다면은 아니 저 말했지.
So I'm pleased that many of you are making notes or taking notes, and please continue to do so. Although I also know that you have a chart, and since I have no idea what is written on the chart, so I can't really trust myself. Everything is accurate. So can you dispense with the chart for the time being? Be busy taking notes. Be busy taking notes because I am supplying the information from authoritative source. And later on compare the two. And if they marry, well and good. If they don't, you can decide.
다 당보 팀리 당보대로 다 먼저 다 뮤직 다 나서래 다 저랑도 덴데르 삼다나요 다 뒤준 저랑도 나르스다 멤버다 아니 미겐골 요부자니다 덴데이나 아니 하고도 뭐마 나 미통도니 덴데 통요요나 빼야고요래 그래서 마통고 그 삼로 컨데 요 덴데지 삼로 나라 샤제 마 게지셰와디 다 데레디 삼다나 안 따다 라초용 따디 시시시고요로 난다 베제나니 셰워나 신디 무이 니줄라 따다 용구요 다 베트여요.
So now talking about the process of dissolution, people who attend the dying, for example, nurses, doctors, and aged care workers, and so on, or somebody who has seen a dying person, so they will have very good appreciation of what is happening, what they can see happening to the dying, and so what they see is what is described in the text.
다당보 팀린 당보들라 소구풍보 팀거다. 라고닝에나네 당보 소구풍보로 풍봉에나네 소구풍마 팀도 거다.
So now let's talk about the dissolution of the 25 items. Of 25, the first item that dissolves is the aggregate of form.
다 소구풍보 팀바치. 나네 시두 나 이싱에나네 시두지 멜론다위시 사데. 멜론다위시 사데 팀도 거래로.
And secondly, mirror like wisdom dissolves with this. second, mirror-like wisdom.
다드네 감시나네 세감 팀도 그래요.
Of the four elements, earth element.
아니 계지 두나네다 미기 계지. 델라 미기 옹불랍도와 미기 옹불에.
So the fourth one is the fourth item that resolves with this is visual sense base, which is the doorway. Okay, as 6 sense bases. The anyway, visual sense base.
다드네 유응하나네 아니 랑유도 숙팀도 그래요.
Now, the fifth thing that resolves with this is suk means the form. Remember, suk means which are, if you can recall, 6 objects of senses. Remember, 6 objects of senses. Of 6 objects of sense, the first one is called form, and this form is the form that is conjoined or connected to one's mind.
다 디게 마nga데 팀베 따들은 치기 따도 난가 따 따니인 거다. 치다난다니로.
So when during the first dissolution of 5 items, 2 that means 2 signs occur, outer and inner.
다 수구 풍부 팀베 치기 따라 가려요. 그래서는 먼저 연라 강바다 라바도 저 타르거야. 아니 류냠 중류 차로야. 아니 류냠 중지시 류는 누워매 버차네로. 어딘데 차로고요. 그랬다.
As a sign of dissolution of the aggregate of form, sugi pungbo, then the body becomes this cylinder, weaker, and lethargic, not having energy.
다데네 시두지 멜론데베 이시세야데 베나 칸데레라나 멜로나라 숭니나조 샤그르와.
나래.
디나 슈응아저 그 에네 유나조 미기 통야들와.
나래.
다데 바 팀르데 에네 미메세와 미그라브리진 주로다. 미기 야고 통야면제 차로다.
So as a sign of dissolution of a mirror-like wisdom, which normally, like in a mirror, if you bring a mirror before object, it captures the image of the object immediately. So we do have mirror-like wisdom has the capacity to capture objects immediately. Now that it's losing its faculty, as it were, the eye becomes blurred.
다드네 디팀베 치다즈 미미세오치 디두성아.
No.
다 세컴 팀베 치다스 니 류 감시 체 연라 플레보 시그로야 체. 아니 수수 류 세월마 칭와데베 그냥 류 아니 세월마 칭도가 나시기 냠 된데 용고요레스.
당보디 를 해버서가
룰 흘러버쳐 마 시그베서로.
No.
안데네 류 세월 칭와데베 그냥 된데 용고레스.
No. 그 숨송자 계시라서 니 당보디 흘러버렸더니 아니
디진시 미기 옹보 팀베 치다스 미미 좀 봤을 연라난 흘러도 다 류사워드 칭와데베
lost this are come around. Lost.
세감 팀베 따.
So now as a sign of dissolution of earth element, then the body loses its kind of motility or hardness, becomes very loose and very loose, not having normal solidity, loose, and as if the person feels they are sinking into the ground, into earth.
디디라고도 나야 텐들라고도 네 아구 디 통갈로 마티레요라 지투 안걸 ngadi chamba je binja aguchi
long
그런 종갈라 볼라 나야 텐다 라도 능해요 다 그런 다 들리셔 또 뒤뒤 아니 건 흘려지 시주야 당 아니지 뒤주냠는 시야 돼 템바 암전은 꾸야 근데 시도 왜 있는다 편도 전부 열어 뒤 어디다 지난주 뒤 민두들 라고장 나야 텐다 라그래 뒤 어디 다 들리베 따따따 딩거다
So this is what the dying person experiences, a sinking into earth feeling, and therefore they will reach out their hand saying, pull me out, pull me up. And it was exactly what I saw, heard my uncle who was a meditator. And when he was going through this, he said to me, pull me up. Then I knew he was undergoing this process. At that time, it's quite important or critical to let the person experience that peacefully.
다드네 미고 옹보템베 치다서 미진좀미도 그랬다
So, as a sign of dissolution of eye sense base, the person will not be able to blink anymore.
미기 신다드메시 다 란주유되베 쑥 도 란주유되베 쑥템베 치다서 네 르그 땅땅 예제 르베 냠세버와 르그 땅땅 르르 도미 르 텔로도 차기도
Claro.
디 가시 니마치 니 숨든데 되거도다 텔로도 차네로 디네 담바디네 아베 텔로로 된데거도 아니 사니나니를 돈도도 딘데 미가시 통성에 되서
So, as a sign of dissolution of form conjoined with one's mind, separate form aggregate of form, form is the body loses its luster, whatever luster people normally have on their face. Now it has no luster on the face. Although it has to be said that some people do manage to maintain their luster for up to 2 to 3 days, after which then you can see the color of death writ large on the face.
어디지 다드네 디제디 치기다 다디종은 미신다 통하여로 디종은 저 디유 미통로지 미신다를 파 통하여로
So these are outer signs with respect to dissolution of 5 items in the first category that people attending the dying can witness.
다디 낭다를 가려 낭다 수수sem날 가르셔서 낭다서 미규다 외에서 미규사데 당도 디나라다 chema 소게 뒤스 chema라 니웨 포거나 아니 추나오 당라서 자주 비지컬로도 이마 차보 이디 니 chema에서도 추려보지 통구다 어디래다 디 먼저 뉴질랜드를 망보도 하대 어딘데지 sem날 셔기요다
So now the inner sign experienced by the dying is mirage appearance, mirage-like appearance. And for example, when you go to the beach, any beach on a hot sunny day, besides the water on the beach itself, you can see a shimmering appearance, looking like some kind of water out there. So that kind of appearance. So the mirage-like appearance.
어디 nga desengache ta chowe phungu niwa de chowe phungu tembe ta chida the nanda shero.
So now the next dissolution starts. The second dissolution starts with the dissolution of aggregate of feelings.
다 chowe phungu tembe chida la kharasana wanshi gi 초와 디도 당용 그 루시 먼저다 원시 코지도 초와져라
long
원시 코지에 초와 디게 아니 초와 디도 당용 좀 루시 냠좀 용어 뭐냐 당 먼저 류라 차드 차워 차외 동에다 차외 동에다 초와 드는 용아 요마다
loss. As a sign of dissolution of this aggregate, the body is unable to sense. The body is unable to sense normal feelings that respective sense consciousnesses experience due to outer respective stimuli or objects. So the body is unable to sense any feelings of warmth, cold, heat, whatever.
다데네 디유데서리도 먼저 니마 먼저 타와지 종갈라버들라 추코마 로베이네 코란 데발라 추차우 동야 되거든
No.
당저 추차우 로베이네 추차우 말에 추창모 말에 추차우 말에 가르되게 일러다 제가 디디딜리기 있어라.
So I saw this happen to a dying monk, and he wanted hot water. He had a desire to drink hot water. And when we gave him hot water, he said, "What are you giving to me? There's neither cold nor hot." It was still hot. So that experience was expressing this phase of dissolution.
다 수부 로청조이나 디 팀야데 유령가 되겠어. 로체올라 this yoga.
So generally, if a young person dies, the dissolution process takes longer. It happens more slowly, more gradually. And for the elderly, it happens more quickly.
다데네 시두지 냠니시 로와 냠신이시 지당 가래 고란 냠니시 스나 가래라나 먼저 단대나가 셈나라 저어디도 당용 지자도 텐dom니 셔버지도 텐시지 어딜라 냠니시서 저어디 저어대와리 저대와 동아리 대당용에서 먼저 하고도니 딜라 냠니시서 거래야 다디 팀베 치달라 아니 이슈 코드기에 다 이슈 콜라 아니 저어디도 당용 텐미도 와샤다.
So the next item that dissolves with aggregate of feeling is base wisdom called equality. Wisdom of equality. What is wisdom of equality? It is called ability of the mind to distinguish, rather, ability of the mind that experiences pain and recognize pain as a pain, pleasure as a pain, neutral as a neutral. So that's called Nyamnyi Ishi, base wisdom of equality. And now, as a sign of the dissolution of that, the dying person cannot experience any sensations surrounding mental consciousness.
그래서
long.
다 중앙시나 추감 팀배 치다라 하래서 카주당 근데 소보고 무당 진바당 차당 쿠와드도 시질 감도 그랬다.
So the third thing that dissolves here and the second is the third thing that dissolves is a water element. As a sign of the dissolution of water element, then
가주제 무스라 무나 아니 진바 타 쿠와 come to rest.
So then, as a sign of that, the lips become dry or parched, and there's no moist on the body. Body becomes there's no sweat, no moist becomes dry, as well as then inside in the body, blood and urine and any kind of moist, they uh, diminish in quantity and amount.
다드네 나외 옹보 팀베 치다스 니 지난 게 다트고 말다.
So then, as a dissolution of ear sense base, as a dissolution of ear sense base, now the dying cannot hear any sound.
다팀베 치다 란주 다 메테오스 도서
La rangyu terrible.
란주 유디베 다 치다 단다디 나외 옹보 팀베 치다 도사서
The and that took my lesson.
어디야 다 란주 유디베 다팀베 아니 치다스 나외 난거 우다 용고 말했어. 당기디 나와 팀베 달라 치기 다 튀고 말라라.
나렐.
지난 다 튀고 말했어. 다 란주 유디베 다여와.
나렐.
근데 폰 단다디 유응에나게 다수다 팀베 달라 아니 치기 달라 나외 나로 우르르 세정도 어디 다디 용고 말해라.
So now, as the fifth thing in this is dissolution of sound conjoined with the consciousness. So now, as a sign of that, the dying person cannot hear the normal, as your translation here says, ur sound. For tik, what's in the question? Nagu, the
먼저 곰자지 카가 되게 먼저 삼는 날에 다시 레용다. 칠로 다제면은 지금 레용을 시도 어디 용 말해서. 나왜 난 구다 용 말해서.
So this sound is called ur. The translation this I have got is ur sound. That means if you are in a very quiet place, very still and quiet, and you are doing meditation, you hear a ringing sound in the air. That sound is conjoined with consciousness. As a sign of dissolution of that sound stops. So these are outer.
다 낭달라 그래요라나 두어다 위시죠. 두어틱웨지나 맨나 두궁나네 두엉고법을 샤로로와 어디나신 셈나라 나와샤기요로와.
So the inner sign for the dying person experiences is billowing smoke from the chimney.
어다 디페진데 샤쇼. 저 팀들을 샤네네. 칼라사샤나 아니 칼라심부 저 연구되면 더 따주리.
So we'll stop here where we have just gone through the second phase of dissolution, which is dissolution of aggregate. And now that we have talked about that, see what kind of sensation you have at lunchtime.
Okay. Sanje shinde migde ewa ye dogu nanda shinla chupara sho yane mendela kani yadayami yawa di yude la lama sunye do yude do jama lewa di sara gola sho chanji sunjoro moche na jibana yuji yo nyama One Bevara Sho, and the other Shamada, Jiran, so I go to the Daisy. Amjad of Vijay Chimbo.